BL or boys love, yaoi, bromance. All these words are used to describe fictional stories about men in romantic or intimate relationship with different levels of intensity. And in this video I will explain how these words are used in Japan and internationally, so you can have a better understanding what to expect when you encounter them in different contexts. BL and yaoi in Japan. BL stands for boys love. It is a category of creative works that depict a romantic relationship between men. BL is a broad term that covers manga, anime, dramas, TV shows, novels, games, and so on. BL is mostly enjoyed and created by women, but in recent years BL industry is growing and we can see more male fans, more male BL creators. In Japan, the term BL is used to describe both works with sexual scenes and works without sexual scenes. So they will use it for everything. Outside of Japan, people use words yaoi and shonenai to divide this. I will explain later why Japanese people don't do that. They sometimes use the term soft BL to describe boys love manga that was published in shoujo magazine. For example, Kieta Hatsukoi was published in shoujo magazine and you can call it soft BL. But if you go to a bookstore or to anime place and they have a shelf with BL manga, you can see Healing Paradox and Sasaki and Miyano on the same section. They don't divide those by ratings, they put actual ratings on the cover instead of using different words for different categories. BL is used widely in casual conversations. When fujoshi and fudanshi talk to each other, they will use the word BL for everything. The drama will be BL drama, manga will be BL manga, anime will be BL anime, and so on. And it also widely used in professional settings. If a manga artist is published in BL magazine and they draw BL manga, they will be called BL mangaka. If the magazine publishes only BL manga, they will be called BL magazine. And if someone's writing an article about trends among fujoshi or fudanshi, they will use the word BL. Or if someone making research about boys love fans, they will use the word BL. If you're in Japan or online Japanese spaces, you will mostly see them using the word BL for every type of works about fictional men romantic relationship. I guess here it's time to ask, so why do we use yaoi for everything? Why Japanese people don't use it as much, and let me explain it. The word yaoi was widely used in Japan in 80s, referring mostly to self-published BL works that focus primarily on sexual scenes. The term is an abbreviation of yamanashi, ochinashi, iminashi. No climax, no point, no meaning. Or jokingly, yamete oshiri ittai. Stop, my butt hurts. It has been used to describe the tendency of these BL works to abandon any real plot in favor of sexual content. In the 90s, the term gradually fell out of use as official publishers began adopting the label BL. In the early 2000s, however, the word was still in circulation. For example, in 2006, artist Ajiko Kojima began publishing the online comedy manga Tonari no Yaoi-chan, which follows an otaku man in a relationship with a fujoshi. In 2007, it was even adapted into a live-action film. I was sure people in Japan don't use the word yaoi anymore. My Japanese fujoshi don't use it, but on a conversation on Twitter, I received examples of how this word is still used. For example, when people talk about their favorite ships in fandoms, or also since the word yaoi is so popular outside Japan, Japanese people started to use some phrases in English like old man yaoi or toxic yaoi. Or for example, the store Yaoi Dungeon, I have the full video about it. It's actually called Otome-kan, but people outside Japan call it yaoi dungeon, and some Japanese people also started to call it yaoi dungeon. All these examples are in casual conversations. If it's a professional settings, they still use the word BL. But if they need to talk about a manga with mostly sexual scenes and not much of the plot, they will call it ero manga, or they will call it this is manga with a lot of eroscene, with a lot of erotic scenes. So let's talk how the word yaoi is used outside Japan. People outside Japan use the word yaoi to describe fictional stories about a romantic relationship between men. They usually refer to stories that have sexual scenes. The word and the term BL is not so widespread outside of Japan, and some people even think that BL means stories without sexual scenes, which is not correct. As I mentioned before, BL is an umbrella term. Since this word is so widespread outside of Japan, it used both in casual conversations and in professional settings. For example, bookstores will mark their shelves as BL/yaoi because they know the official term BL, but they also know that people more aware of the word yaoi, so they will help them to find these books. Even websites that originated from Japan, if they have English version, they will name the category with boys love as BL/yaoi. Influencers also often use the word yaoi. You can see British YouTubers Dan and Phil use the word yaoi in their podcast. The main reason why the word yaoi is so popular outside Japan is piracy. Piracy websites still use the word yaoi to categorize boys' love works with sexual scenes, and they use the word shonenai to categorize works without sexual scenes. People outside Japan discover BL through piracy websites, and they believe that's how Japan also categorize boys' love manga using these words. And while we established that the word yaoi is still around in Japan in casual context about jokes, fandoms, and shipping, they don't use the word shonenai. It used to be around in 70s and 80s, but it was never about wholesome sexless boys' love works. It's a myth. And they don't use this word at all because shonenai in Japanese means love to very young boys, not a platonic one. I believe that piracy websites still use the tag shonenai, and even websites like Manga Updates, they also use the tag shonenai, is mainly because of SEO, because people still think that this is the word for boys' love without explicit scenes, and they will look it up. I was talking in my other video that that's one of reasons why official reading websites can lose in SEO because they cannot use these terms on their websites. But to be fair, sometimes Japan loans English words in a strange way. They have a full category of straight erotic manga named TL, and TL stands for teen love. And there is no teens in this manga, and it's not for teens or about teens. It's about adult women. It's basically josei with smart scenes. And going back to gay stories, there's one more category that is gaining popularity in Japan, and we need to talk about it, and it's bromance. Bromance is a pretty new category for Japanese publishers, and in English this word means close but non-sexual relationship between men. And as we can see, Japan sometimes borrows English words in a confusing way, but in this particular case, they get this word through China and South Korea. It gets even more confusing. Let's try to figure it out together. An article on a Japanese website Bookwalker explains how the word bromance entered the Japanese market, largely because its popularity in South Korean and Chinese light novels. And because these countries have stricter censorship rules, creators often avoid labeling their works as BL. So as a result, they can write stories about passionate and strong bonds, but don't label them directly as romantic, and they use the label bromance. Japanese publishers translated these works. They were very popular. They used the label bromance for them, and as a result, Japan started adopting the term in a similar way. This article defines bromance as following. Bromance is a blend of brother and romance. But unlike BL, boys love, a genre centered on romantic relationships between men, it refers to a wide spectrum of deep, non-romantic bonds. For example, an intensely passionate friendship, a special close relationship that no one can break, a one-of-a-kind buddy, a bond like soulmates, or rivals striving to reach greater heights. This definition doesn't make sense to me because every special bond example they gave, I can name a boys love manga with this particular trope or kind of relationship, so I think I was even more confused, and I know the main reason for this article to exist is to sell more books, because they gave a list of recommendations, what they consider to be bromance, and at the beginning of this list is The Night Beyond the Three-Cornered Window. And this is boys love manga. Another thing, they gave a lot of sports manga like Haikyuu, so I guess they call bromance also shipping. Haikyuu is very popular among fujoshi, characters have so much chemistry, so I guess we call it shipping and they call this chemistry bromance. I was so confused, so I decided to read one more article. I found an article on Animate, and their definition of bromance is similar to Bookwalker's one, but they have a section when they explain a difference between BL and bromance. Unlike BL, which depicts romantic relationship between men, bromance refers to a relationship between men who are very close but do not have romantic feelings or a sexual relationship. Therefore, even if it's unrequited love, even if a little bit of romantic feeling develops, that relationship cannot be called a bromance. Affection and romantic feelings are not necessarily the same thing, and light BL and bromance are completely different things. And this is an area that is often confused. Light BL with little to no sexual depiction is also BL and not a bromance. Here are 3 works that are marketed as bromance but don't fit this definition from Animate: The Summer Hikaru Died, The Case Files of Jeweler Richard, and Number 6. Listen, I know that The Summer Hikaru Died was pitched at the beginning as a BL manga, and then mangaka changed her mind and she made a lot of explanation why she did that, but I honestly think that the reason is deeper than that. I will talk about it in a later part of this video, so please keep watching. As bromance, this work will not fit Anime's definition because Yoshiki, the main character, he has explicit romantic feelings to his childhood friend Hikaru. And then the monster Hikaru has feelings to Yoshiki, and Yoshiki has feelings to monster. Absolutely can be published in a BL magazine. I don't think that every gay character or gay story should be labeled as BL, but in this particular case, if The Summer Hikaru Died was in BL magazine, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be like, yeah, it fits this because it has everything that BL story has. The Case Files of Jeweler Richard probably has the reverse situation with The Summer Hikaru Died. Author definitely planned to write these novels as a bromance, and she planned to write like 6 books, but then her work became really popular, so she wrote more. And at the end of her story, main characters Seigi and Richie, they got married and they proclaimed their love to each other directly and they kissed. Anime's definition of differences between BL and bromance fell apart again. And don't get me started on number 6. The anime adaptation of novels number 6 has an on-screen kiss. Not every BL anime these days have an on-screen kiss. I don't understand why Japan tries to adopt a label that was created to censor BL, while Japan doesn't need to censor BL. My first guess was, well, maybe they want to appeal to wider audience because the label BL still has a stigma, even though in recent years things got better a little bit. But then I went to a website that belongs to a magazine Comic Bro. Comic Bro publishes bromance manga. And I looked at these covers, and you can tell they are appealing to fujoshi. The informational portal for BL fans Chill Chill published an article when they were like, oh, you're fujoshi, you like chemistry among men, between men, here are some bromance titles for your enjoyment. So basically, fujoshi are the one who are buying them anyway. The bromance label is so confusing, so recently a BL English publisher licensed a bromance manga and put it on schedule with other BL works. Fujoshi are buying bromance anyway. We're buying everything, I have a full video about it. The existence of bromance highlights the issue that Japanese publishing industry has. In her essay, Mika Daichi, the Japanese BL mangaka, shares her story how she was rejected by different BL publishers when she was pitching them her work. They were saying this is never will be a BL manga. And it's a story about a young artist who's struggling to create art because he is not accepting his sexuality. Her story has a lot of complex feelings and emotions, and when she was pitching this work to BL editors, they were saying, oh no, it's too complicated, BL fans like simpler stories with a lot of sexual scenes, it couldn't be a BL story. Oh, but you should consider to publish it as bromance. Mika Daichi's work was rejected by over than 10 publishers, and after that she decided to self-publish her work and she posted it on Twitter, and it went viral there. And after it went viral on Twitter, BL publisher reached out to her and published her work as BL. This story shows that publishers don't understand that current BL fans want more complicated stories. And I'm not talking down about the ones that are published right now, but I think we can read and enjoy complex stories without labeling them as bromance. Here's my definition of what bromance is in Japan right now. You can agree or disagree about this with me in comments. So basically, Japanese publishers labeling something as bromance just to set readers' expectations. So you don't have to have those. Like, the story is going to be really gay, there's going to be a lot of chemistry, a lot of interesting situations, but they don't promise you that it's going to go anywhere, and it's up to you to pick up story like that if you are fujoshi. Sometimes they can deliver, like with the case files of Jewel Richard, right? But they don't have to. So if you see a label bromance on a Japanese title, just set your expectations as low as possible. Conclusion. I lost my hair while I was filming this video. Okay, I just got my hair cut before my trip to Japan. Anyway, back to the topic. In 2025, during International Manga Conference Reiwa Taisho, there was a lecture on BL basics. The goal of this lecture was to educate publishers on how to understand and sell BL better. And during this lecture, they said that BL doesn't have a fixated definition right now. and that sometimes when authors say like, oh, it's not boys love, it's pure love, it's not boys love, it's human drama, they usually just show that they are biased against BL. So in this video I tried to learn more about all these words and terms and share this knowledge with you. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider to subscribe. I make videos about boys love, anime, manga in Japan. Smash that like button, watch my other videos on this topic. I'm going to Japan this week and I will film more content for you. So I'm already working on my next video, so I'll see you on the next one!